Hello and welcome. I'm Jade of Jaded Reader, and today I'm going to be going over my DraconAthon TBR. If you do not know what DraconAthon is, welcome! It's my first readathon. I am co-hosting with Soleil of Little Reader's Corner, and we have put on a dragon-themed readathon with all sorts of draconic creatures, so I will have the link to that video up above as well as down below, and you can go check it out and see if this is something that interests you, but I can guarantee if you like dragons, this will be at least of some interest to you. Today, I am lazed out on my Snorlax because I am feeling incredibly lazy. We have put so much work into this readathon, and having it all come together and having my TBR figured out feels so good. Everything was so put together that I ended up doing nothing, so Procrastination Jade has checked in, and I am now just realizing I still have to put something out being like, I'm participating too. Go figure. If you've been keeping up on my most recent video, I mentioned that I am reading a lot of audiobooks because I am on a book buying ban. It's just physically, so I'm reading books that I already own physically, and then everything else has to be on an audiobook, either from my library, from Scribd, or from Audible. Yeah, you are going to be seeing a lot of audiobooks in this, but I also have 3 physical books that I'm really excited about. And again, for an in-detailed look at the prompts, you're going to want to watch that other video where I go into detail. And I guess we'll just get into the prompts and what I'm reading. First up is the prompt Mizuchi, which is a Japanese water dragon. You could read either the dragon prompt, which was water, or the global prompt, which was to read something within Japanese or Asian culture. I decided to go with the dragon prompt for this one because I have the book Fireborn. This is the art copy. This came out sometime last year, but Katie from Katie's Book Nook sent it to me for, I believe, my birthday. I don't know. At some point, she was thinking of me, and out of the kindness of her heart, she sent me her art copy. I have been wanting to read this book forever, and since I have the arc, I might as well read the arc. I thought it'd be kind of fun. And this fulfills the dragon prompt because I have been guaranteed that there's a fight next to a waterfall. I do love a good fight, and a waterfall makes it all the better. And both Madison at Princess of Paperback and Katie from Katie's Book Nook agreed that there is water somewhere within this book. So Mizuchi is covered. As far as what this book is about, from my limited knowledge, having not read it, it is about dragon riders, and there is some sort of rivalry between these 2 dragon riders, as well as possibly a romance, if not a found family, maybe a bit of both. And they are in a high-stakes, war-torn world where they need to compete to become dragon riders, reach their full potential, but for some reason, one reaching their full potential means the other one cannot. That's all I really know about it, and it's got dragons. Dragon Riders was a pretty good hint towards that, but we know for sure it has dragons. Shut up, Ima. And the next prompt after that is Gaciendatha, and for Gaciendatha, I am doing the dragon prompt as well, and this is the Dragon Pearl. Dragon Pearl is a middle grade by Yoonha Lee, and it is a South Korean-inspired sci-fi fantasy where there are Gumyo. If you don't know what a Gumyo is, they are fox spirits, and they can transform. They're known to be kind of tricksters. Point being is there are foxes in this sci-fi fantasy, and there are dragons. For the dragon prompts, it is fulfilling the dragon prompts both for space, because it is a sci-fi fantasy set in space with dragons, as well as the Kihawahine prompt, which is the dragon dealing with spirits. So I have Kihawahine and Gaciendatha in the same book. This also could work for Mizuchi, as it is Asian inspired and own voices, but because I already had that covered, I figured I could cover 2 prompts in one with this one. So this covers the prompt for both space and spirits. In the Dragon Pearl, again with my limited knowledge, you follow a 13-year-old Min. Min is a Gumyo girl who's growing up in a far-off planet in the middle of nowhere, kind of just going about her life. Her main goal and dream is to join a military group. Her brother had just joined, but when she finds her brother has been charged as a traitor and has fled, she decides to follow in his footsteps and go out on her own journey and try and find him, as well as unravel where he actually ended up. And as far as we know, there might be an epic quest to look for something called the Dragon Pearl. I read into the fact that there are actual legitimate dragons in this, as well as some sort of dragon council, so I'm really, really looking forward to this world. It honestly sounds perfect for me, and I just want to get into it, so it's been very hard not starting this book. Next up is the prompt Kukulkan. For Kukulkan, I ended up going with the global prompt. This book does not have dragons in it, but I am very excited to read it, and that is the book Woven in Moonlight by Isabel Ibanez. This is a book inspired by Bolivian politics and history, and has the trope of a decoy for a royal, some sort of uprising, and there's a usurper who has taken over the throne using some sort of ghost to wash out this place's magic system. Our main character is both bent on revenge and has the power to spin thread through moonlight. It all sounds really whimsical and beautiful, and I really love a good rebellion story. And the last decoy book I read, I ended up really enjoying. That was Mirage by Samaya Daoud. I didn't really know much about like decoy tropes or anything like that, but I really enjoyed it, so I'm really excited to pick up this one. And it fulfills the global prompt being a own voices South American inspired novel, so it sounds amazing and whimsical and really different from anything I've ever read. This is the Fairy Loot edition. The regular edition looks like this. I really like the original edition, but there's something really calming about the soft heather gray background that I'm digging, and I'm glad I'm reading this one physically. After that, there's the prompt Idawedo. Okay, so this was acknowledged as my favorite dragon. It is a really cool rainbow dragon where half of the dragon is male and the other is female, and it hails from South Africa. So for this, I do have a global prompt. However, I'm going to hopefully find that it is also one of the dragon prompts because it does have dragons in it. I just don't know which prompt it might fit into. So for now, it's both a global prompt and our group book for DraconAthon. I am getting a physical copy of this, but it's not in the mail yet, and I wanted to get this filmed while I had the oomph, the gumption, I don't know, the momentum to go on. The point being, we will be reading as our group book and will also count as my Idawedo prompt, Rage of Dragons by Evan Winter. Rage of Dragons is an adult fantasy novel that has been hailed as both Game of Thrones, because everyone says adult fantasy novels with dragons is Game of Thrones, and Gladiator. So this is a world that has been in a 200-year-long war. Constantly there's battles, there's politics. This is a gruff, gritty place. There's also a magic system here where there are gifted people who either a 1 in 2,000 women can summon dragons down, and 1 in 100 men are able to transform themselves into what said like was a scaly beast. I'm guessing it's a dragon. Either way, I know there's dragons in this book. In all of this, you have your main character who's not interested in any of it. He literally just wants to settle down, have a family, and live in the countryside. For some unknown reason, because it'll eventually be revealed in the book, it doesn't go down that way, and this ends up being a massive revenge story. I am expecting this to be a very epic fantasy. His next book is said to be coming out, I think, sometime next year. It was pushed. It was supposed to be this month, but I think now it is either at the end of this year or 2021. Either way, I'm super pumped to get into this series at its beginnings so that I can hopefully continue on with the next one, as well as fulfilling the global prompt for Idawedo. After that, we have the Idre prompt, and that is to read a Welsh-inspired or European-inspired own voices novel, or to read a book with wizards. I found both. This goes for either the dragon prompt or the global prompt, and it is Uprooted by Naomi Novik. I have never read anything from Naomi Novik. I've seen her work before. It seems to be really popular. This is a book where a girl lives in a small village guarded by a dragon who is also a wizard, and he takes a woman every 10 years and has her in the tower, and then she comes back down from the tower and usually leaves. They say that nothing terrible happens to her, but they're all shrouded in mystery and all disappear afterwards. And so there's some sort of ceremony where a girl is taken. The dragon wizard dude is also protecting this village, or possibly the entire kingdom, from a dark and mysterious woods. If you venture into the woods or something ventures out of it, it can be quite dangerous and there's dark things that lurk inside. I think that this premise sounds absolutely fantastic and whimsical, magical, feels like an older style fairy tale dragon book that I would have read when I was younger. So I'm just super stoked to start it. It's also a 17-hour long audiobook, but I will get into the numbers here in a second because I have quite a month ahead of me. And for the last prompt, we have Akek. Akek is an Egyptian dragon. So for the dragon prompt, this can either be a dragon book that also incorporates in serpents, or for the global prompt, it can be an Own Voices Egyptian or on a larger scale African author. I have chosen the global prompt for this as well as it being a non-fiction book, and it is Born a Crime by Trevor Noah. If you have no idea who Trevor Noah is, he is a talk show host for The Daily Show. He's absolutely hilarious as well as incredibly pointed and powerful. I very much so wanted to read this book for a while, and this seemed like the perfect opportunity to do so. I don't have his audiobook yet, but I'm really hoping that he narrates his own audiobook. I love biographies and memoirs where it is read by an author. I think that there's just something really magical and wonderful. So here's to hoping for that. And Born in a Crime's full title is Stories from a South African Childhood. This is about his childhood being raised in South Africa and how when he was born, his parents' union was actually considered a crime punishable by 5 years in prison, and how his mother would have to hide him from government officials growing up. It is a look at Trevor Noah's childhood and his journey going from South Africa to The Daily Show. He has always seemed like a very interesting and charismatic person to me, and I would just love to know more. That is it for the DraconAthon prompts. I do have one book I also plan on reading in August that doesn't fulfill a prompt but is one I want to get to quickly, as I'm supposed to be receiving an arc for the sequel when it comes out, and I want to make sure that I'm all ready for it. So I have Unveiled by MC Ray. The author MC Ray actually reached out to me and asked for me to read his book. He was actually coming forward to me for his sequel. I let him know I'd be happy to do so. I just need to read the first one first. So this is an elven fantasy following our main elven character and her privileged life in an elven city called Kenderlock. It is a very stratified kingdom where you have lower-born elven and human people on the outside, and then slowly as you enter the inner rings, you have royalty and higher-ups, and our main character is in a higher-up ring, but when she ventures outside of the city, she starts to learn more about her people and the world, and there's some sort of unveiling where Kenderlock drops its veils and it is unprotected or possibly just seen by the rest of the world. I was very pointedly told that while there's not dragons in the first book, he couldn't guarantee that there were not dragons in the second. For now, this is not a DraconAthon prompt, but maybe next year, who knows? I really like the cover. It has some sort of dark creature with yellow eyes, and it did say on the back that there is some sort of malevolent creature with yellow eyes that is following our main character. I'm really excited to get into this, and I'm going to be reading this physically in the month of August as well, so there's that. That is it for my TBR, but I'm gonna break some things down for you in case you're interested to see how I'm gonna be doing this. In the end, I have 4 global prompts, 3 dragon prompts, and 2 that could go for either a dragon prompt or a global prompt, Uprooted being able to be both dragon and global at the same time, and the Dragon Pearl either being Mizuchi or covering 2 different prompts in the dragon prompts, which is spirit and space. I also did some math here because I have so many that are audiobooks. If I was to read all of these via audiobook, because I don't know how long it'll take to read my physical books, we are looking at, excluding Unveiled, because that's not available on audiobook, so I wasn't able to estimate and calculate it. We have 75 hours worth of books to read in the month of August. 75 hours is a lot of hours. When I broke it down to a daily average, I will need to read 2.5 hours every single day in August in order to fulfill these. Luckily, we will have lots of sprints, a few live shows, and definitely going to be taking a lot of time because I don't want to fail my own readathon. It's a super chill readathon, guys. If you don't start this at the beginning of August, please feel free to join, but being a host, feel a little bit more pressure than I normally feel when dealing with readathon prompts, so I'm going to get this right. As close as I can be to right, I'm going to get it right. I will be hitting the ground running on August 1st to get as many hours in a day as I can of these audiobooks because I want to make sure I finish these all in time. This by no means is any pressure on anyone doing the readathon. I just feel a little bit more pressure this time around. I would love to know, are you participating in any readathons in August? Which ones are you participating in? Are you participating in DraconAthon? Because that would be cool. I would love to know your TBRs. We also have a Discord up and running that's been really fun. We are going to be doing a couple different activities, so again, check out that announcement video. It's going to have a lot of information and news. Follow us on Twitter, Instagram, and Discord, as well as me here. I look forward to hopefully seeing you on August 1st for our live show. It'll be here on my channel, and I hope you're enjoying the sun or more stars wherever you are, and until next. Sorry, I also forgot to mention we also have a Google Docs down below that has a gigantic list that is ongoing of dragon books that not only follow these prompts, but also just dragon books in general. So if you are ever looking for a dragon book or have a dragon book to recommend, I highly suggest you checking out that Google Doc. It is free for you to edit. We just have to approve it to make sure you're not a jerk that's just putting something weird on the internet. Super exciting, super ready to start this month, and thank you everyone who's been contributing and supporting us. If it's successful, we'd love to continue on and do something on a larger scale. Please feel free to look at all of the information down below, as well as petitions and links, because those are still there. Those aren't going anywhere, and I hope you are, again, enjoying the sun or more stars wherever you are. Until next time, bye! So, I would love to know, are you participating? What would I love to know? Words. I have a piece of hair on my lip. I can feel it. I don't know if you can see it, but I can feel it. It's so hard. It's so hard to get a hair out of lipstick because you're just like, I don't know if that worked. There's some sort of weird machinery. Why? Why is this house so noisy? I'd like it better if it was haunted. There's so many noises happening right now. We are going to be doing... Now there's water and an air conditioner. My house sounds like it's falling apart. Where are you? Where is my math? On a larger dragon scale. So, scale. Get it? Dragon scale. That was a lame joke. I'm not using that.